With real estate prices surging, low inventory, and a backlog of building construction, many of you may be wondering, are we headed for another market crash?
Oh no!
I don't even like to think about it. So if you're sitting on the sideline, wonder if prices are gonna go down, is there gonna be another crash? Should I jump in now or wait? Well, I'm gonna go over some good news and some bad news. And hopefully it'll help you decide if you wanna buy a house in 2021. Rates, let's talk about rates. You know, we've had a run of about 7 weeks where rates have continually gone up. And I know that sounds like some bad news. And for some people, it is. Because if rates go up, that's less house you can buy if you're getting a loan. So it is going to eat into your budget. But with that being said, with rates rising, that will keep some people on the sidelines. They will hesitate and not buy because of the rising rates, which means less people buying houses. It's very competitive. So that's less people bidding on the same house that you want. But in reality, rates are historically low. And they go up and down. And I think they went down this week. So this feeding frenzy in the housing market really surprised many real estate economists. I mean, with COVID and job losses, we really did expect the housing market to slow down. But that's not the case. So apparently COVID changed the way people think. I mean, they probably never really knew how small their houses were until they had to spend 24/7 with their spouse and kids. You know who you are. So by mid-April, housing prices were soaring. People couldn't wait to buy a bigger house with a separate wing for certain members of their household. And of course, people are taking advantage of record low interest rates, and our sales numbers were the highest they have been in 14 years. So of course, builders have answered the call, and they are slapping up houses left and right all across the country to answer our inventory shortage. So the bottom line here is construction's not going to stop. It's going to continue throughout 2021, and it's going to go right into 2022 at the same pace. So technically that's some good news. If you aren't interested in the resale, of course, buying new construction takes you out of bidding wars, and there's lots of it going on. Bottom line, I do not see construction stopping. Okay, so many people still have concerns about a housing crash. But the difference about the last housing crash and this market is we have a forbearance program in place through the government, which we didn't have previously. In our last housing crisis, people lost their jobs and they were losing their houses because banks were foreclosing on them. In this COVID crisis that we've had, the government has put a stay of execution out there. They basically won't let the lenders foreclose on you, and they have extended that to the end of this year. So I don't see any foreclosures happening in 2021. Now, I'm not saying it can't blow up eventually. 2022 will be a different story, but right now, people don't have to pay their mortgage and they can't get thrown out. So we're not gonna get flooded with a bunch of foreclosures in 2021. And even those who are in a forbearance, when they are forced to start making payments, let's say in January of 2022, there's a high probability that the bank's gonna do a loan modification and put most of the delinquency on the back end of the loan because they have equity. And those who don't have jobs obviously can't make a mortgage payment. And because they have equity, there's a high probability, if they're smart, they will put their home on the market for sale, take their equity, and move on to rent, if they're smart. You know, the housing crash 15 years ago was ignited by low interest rates and loose mortgage lending. Back in 2004 and 2005, well, you could basically fog a mirror and get a loan. There was a lot of stated income loans, a lot of Alt-A loans. Anybody could get a mortgage and not even have to prove that they could afford it. Prices were rising quickly and caused some pretty nutty behavior. All of a sudden, everybody was a real estate investor. I mean, when your lawn guy thinks he can buy a bunch of rentals, turn around and flip them on a stated income program, we got a problem. And that is why the bubble burst. So in a nutshell, the finance markets are much tighter now than they were back then. Now back in 2007, home values were dropping. People didn't have equity. Not the case now. Most everybody has equity, and equity is a strong incentive to stay in your home. So with the robust price increases and market activity, will we have a market crash this year? Short answer, not likely. While nobody has a crystal ball, most real estate experts think we will have a dip in prices eventually, but not a complete crash like we had before. My prediction is that prices will not slow down or even come down at all until the latter part of 2022, probably third quarter. Remember, housing market predictions can only give you an idea of what you can expect if you buy or sell a home this year. You should never really let them dictate your actions. Whether you buy or sell, your home should be made based upon your personal financial position and what's best for you. Hopefully this video was helpful. If it was, give it a thumbs up. My name is Lisa.Ammons with 772 Living, Ammons & Company Real Estate. I want to thank you for spending part of your day with me. Hopefully I see you on my next video. Make sure you watch these next upcoming videos. Have a great day.